What's up, everybody? Today we are going to be looking at and reacting to Brickey Vlog, the YouTube channel from Brickey himself. He does a lot of great content, a lot of great nerdy stuff. He did a really good one that just came out. I checked out a little bit of it today, but I want to just do this, kind of watch a whole reaction playthrough and see what all the new Disneyland updates that have come, because just the past couple weeks, in the past month, Disneyland has gotten a lot of cool updates. So how about we go ahead and check it out? Gonna bring this up right here. And if you have not liked or subscribed, I would recommend you do so. Hit that like button. And yeah, let's get this show on the road.
Friends, it is literally the episode of Disneyland Update that I have been dreaming on recording for years now, because I have been dreaming of doing an update where all of the news is positive. And I could tell you that the park was back to being itself. And so I'm happy to report today that Disneyland is back to being Disneyland. And I want to give you a story from every single land inside of Disneyland, except for Toontown. Let's get your act together, showing you that there are updates happening all around the park that are making it feel like it's 2019 all over again. So before we get started, I don't know where in the chain of command this change has come from. We have a new leader of all of Disney, Josh D'Amaro. We have a new head of Disney Parks and Experiences, Tommy Mazzola. And then we have a new parks president, Sweet Jill. I don't know which one of these three folks are responsible. Maybe it's a choir of all three, but there is definitely something changing at Disneyland, and it's changing for the good.
So going off of Brickey's comments right there about who is it? Is it the top dog or is it all three? I would say personally, while it is the top dog, I do think that the top dog has to pass along and pick the ones who are going to share the same vision for the company. And I even said this on Twitter a couple of weeks ago that I believe all the executive changes that have happened, all of them are going to have an alignment, a star alignment of ideals and vision for the company moving forward under the new leadership. So I think this is a positive move. There have been some, in the parks, especially recently, like with Roger Rabbit, the new Carousel of Progress, a lot of kind of complaining here from the fans about things. But I think overall, right now, there's been a lot of positive moveset. Crap. There's been a lot of positive moves going on right now.
Last month, we saw Galaxy's Edge finally abide by the fans' wishes when we saw Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Darth Vader show up at the resort. Fans got their wish of hearing John Williams music all across the land, but it didn't stop there. This new version of Disney is surprising guests in nearly every single corner of the park. And there has been not one, but two new shows added to Galaxy's Edge. At night, there is a new projection show on the spires that's themed around Grogu. But a surprise today to me is that over in front of the sort of land speeder garage, where I've predicted that was going to be the load and unload station for the third and cancel attraction inside of Galaxy's Edge. I made a video about it that you can watch. But this little area...
About that third Bantha ride, I know everybody has been complaining because we haven't gotten that Bantha ride. It's supposed to be the third attraction. However, for me personally, while that sounds cool, it doesn't sound realistic. And I don't know, for me, if I want to be on a slow moving giant sloth, basically. And it's just, I mean, I love Star Wars. Banthas are cool. They're awesome. But in a practical sense of like a ride, sorry, man, not for me. But anyways, let's keep going.
Has been updated. New speakers have been added. I believe a new camera system has been put in. And now the little droids do a show in that enclosed area. And it's fantastic because Everybody gets a fair shot of seeing the little droids perform. Because of the railing, nobody steps in front of you. The show is really, really long. Most people come up, they're full of excitement. They can't believe the droids. And after a couple of minutes, they're like, okay, cool, I'm ready to wander on.
See, I love this because for a couple reasons. A year ago or a couple years ago, we have had an announcement from Disney about these little BD droids coming, right? And they're cute, they're awesome, they're small, but then we just kind of never heard from them ever again since then. But now, and we have seen them here and there in the park once in a while, but now we have a full dedicated segment for these things in replacement of that Bantha attraction, apparently. So if that's the case, I mean, that's cool. I mean, yes, I would still like a third ride, but this is cool too because this is giving more kinetic energy, more vibes in the park, and just more of a kind of show for the guests to experience, right? So that's really cool. I love that, and it makes use of a space. Keep in mind, making use of unattended space. That's the theme here.
Show was long enough for everybody to partake in a little bit of Disney magic, but this is just that randomness that had been missing. And here it is popping up. No big post or announcement, no big schedule, just the little droids showing up, being absolutely adorable and making everybody around them happy. When you add this in combination of all the characters that have shown up, and as well, now that Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run has a whole new story arc to it with Mandalorian and Grogu being part of that mission, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge inside of a month has transformed into a very different version of itself. A version fans wish would have showed up a long time ago. But
and yes, Brickey is absolutely right. And that's the thing, okay? Is ever since the announcement of Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars fans were excited, park fans were excited. It's going into Disneyland Park. It's going to expand the park. Awesome. However, I think Imagineering had a huge misstep, and just Disney in general with the Star Wars of how they treated it, and thinking Star Wars was going to be the best Star Wars. That did not fly at all. What they gave is not what the fans wanted. Now, yes, sometimes the fans do complain unnecessarily, and I've actually made a kind of a statement about that with OG. And the fans complain a lot about things, and sometimes Disney won't listen to the fans because it's like, well, it's cry wolf at that point if you're always complaining about something. But this Galaxy's Edge, I believe, in my opinion, was in how it was handled and executed, big mistake. Great looking land, rock work, scenery, awesome, but everything else just was not hitting. So I'm glad to see in just a short time they've been able to turn that around like crazy. And the music helps as well. The music should have been like one of the first things to have been already in the the land. Actually, all this should have already been in the land, but whatever. Let's keep going.
oh wait, it doesn't stop there. Because if you remember, the Adventureland treehouse was formerly Tarzan's treehouse. And there's been a transformation to try to make that into a new walkthrough attraction inside of Adventureland. And there's a little construction wall that happened out front of it. It appears to me that this construction wall is a team that is working on the water feature that goes through Adventureland.
Okay, so this right here, I won't dwell on too much. I actually made a comment about this on Brickey's video, so if you want to know what it is, you can go check that out. But however, what I will say here is that I have heard that this is because of some operational issues. So I will let that be to you as what you want to do with that. But yes, the water feature is missed. It's beautiful. It sounds great. And yeah, water, rock work, always awesome. Let's keep going.
Now, this little clear water system adds a lot of kinetic energy, it adds a lot of sound, but it also adds storytelling. That's what makes the water wheel circulate in front of the tree house. And so you see a crew working on this sculpting out front, trying to get it all put together. These are the little features that had been disappearing over the years. These are the things that nobody books a ticket on. This doesn't bring people in from out of town, but these are the details that matter, and they're showing back up again. These are the type of kinetic energy features that Disneyland had been missing. Seeing a crew bring this one back to life lets me believe that this is something that we're going to see systematically all across the park. And oh, I'm not jumping to conclusions. I've got receipts. The edge of Frontierland is absolutely different than it has been for the last handful of years. One might say, and one wouldn't be wrong to say it, they have indeed cleaned up what the pin trading brought to the edge of Frontierland.
Okay. I am so glad about this. I am not a pin trader. And I know people love the pin trading stuff. Okay. People go absolutely bonkers with this. I was never in it. It's cool, but it's not really my thing. I am glad to see that there is now a more Disney official way of doing this off to the side, not this whole group meetup thing, where, as you can see in this image, where everybody's just kind of cornered up in this group off to the side, taking up tables, taking up space. I mean, it just doesn't really look good, in my opinion. So, but that's that. What do you think?
Disney had kept trying to make the rules tighter and tighter. People kept going outside of the rules, kept making the pin trading area bigger, going beyond the hours that were designated for it. And eventually the bad apples ruined the bunch. And Disney's workaround, I think, is really, really smart. There is now a very friendly and inviting kids-only pin trading area right inside of Frontierland. The cast members there were super nice. It was overstaffed. They have little games. One of the games is a child can pick two numbers, two mystery pins will come out. And if the kid wants to trade, they can. But if they don't want to trade, they don't have to. It's a really, really nice little area for kids to check in, get some FaceTime with cast members, and kind of understand that Disneyland is a friendly place. Now, of course, if you're cynical, it's a way to get kids hooked on pin trading, which is a way of getting parents to spend money. That's not lost on me, but I'm looking at the positive here in that an area that felt very odd and unlike the rest of Disneyland now feels fun, family friendly, and inviting. And before anybody gets upset, I went and asked the lady directly across in the little covered wagon, adults can pin trade right across the walkway. So adults haven't been barred from pin trading. There's just a nice designated kids first area. And then if you need to do a pin trade in Frontierland, you can go over to the covered wagon. I did it and got this bizarre Minnie Mouse and a Doom buggy. I don't care. I'm the kingpin, and all the pins come to me eventually. I believe this is a big win because the park is cleaner, it runs more efficiently, and everyone can be included.
Exactly. Like I just said earlier, right? That whole area was just like clogged up of all the space of people just sitting there, and now it's a more official designated space by Disney. Disney is taking control of the guest experience and putting it to good use, actually. And remember, Disneyland, the Disney parks are a family oriented park, not just for kids, not just for adults, not just for teens, it's for everybody. So I'm really glad to see that they are catering to the kids section, but then also if you're an adult and you want to pin trade, they have their own section. So that's awesome.
The place for everybody. Disney thought this through. Nobody got eliminated. It's just a simpler way to run something that had honestly gotten out of hand. I like seeing the kids go up there and kind of figure this out and having a safe space to talk to adults. You remember when you were little and your mom or dad made you order your own like ice cream at Dairy Queen? It takes a while before you learn how to navigate the world on your own. Learn how to do that inside of Disneyland. That's pretty sweet. Doing it with pin trading, something that's low stress and meant to be fun, even sweeter. But one of the other things that the cast members are doing there is they're handing out the Mickey Park Rangers Guide. You can also get this over on the edge of the Rivers of America. And let me tell you, this thing is dense. It's about 30 pages full of discovery for families to go through the park, on the island, on the railroad, to literally go around Disneyland and observe look for details, solve all kinds of little quests and challenges. I mean, it's basically training kids to do my job. These are the types of things I have been begging for. The cost of these booklets, minimal. The activities.
See, this here is awesome. This is great stuff. I love to see Disney do things like this. Again, this is another bringing something to the guests. This is a very positive type of activity. You're bringing it to the guests in the park, and not only that, but you're doing it for an area that is underutilized. I mean, look, back when I was tiny Webba, I would go to Tom Sawyer's Island all the time, all the time. It was great. I was memorized by the river, by the canoes, the boats, the island, because I knew also the island was for Fantasmic, which was amazing. Like, how can this amazing show take place on this island when people go there during the day? How does Mickey teleport? And then you go there, you go to Fort Wilderness, you're shooting guns, going through caves. It was a banger. But then after the Fort Wilderness closed, and I remember when they brought when Pirates was a huge thing, like the live action Pirates of the Caribbean, it was huge. And then they put all the piratey stuff kind of into some of the caves. And then after that, and then now with our kind of defeated Fantasmic, unfortunately, nothing with Tom Sawyer's Island has been really hitting, and there's been no really traction there. So people go, of course, but I think they want to see more foot traffic there and more guests, because again, if you're filling that island, you're filling more capacity into the park, giving guests things to do. That isn't something that, hey, we're going to nickel and dime you for you to do this. Look, this is a free activity, right? I mean, obviously it's part of your park admission, but this isn't a activity that's behind a paywall. So I love to see stuff like this. This is a win for sure.
Basically already exists inside of the park. Theming this summer for kids, smart move, because what it's really doing is giving families a quest inside of Disneyland, something fun to do together, and a great reason to get off your phone. And I absolutely love that Disney is pushing people into the art of discovery. Imagine.
Yes, and I also, Brickey, great point about the phone, because I believe it was Bruce Vaughn, and even I think Disney themselves had said that they recognized the problem of the phone usage. Okay, now obviously with technology, everything goes onto here, right? Your pin, your thumbprint, your face scan, right? Technology all gets embedded into your phone for this one single device to do everything. However, because of that has also allowed for a lot of this in a park, which actually is detrimental to what the goal Disney is trying to achieve. What are they trying to achieve? Immersive themed experiences. Well, what good is that when you're doing this? What's up, bro? What good is that? It's not good at all, because now you're distracted. Now you're trying to get your lightning lane and my mobile food order, right? Well, don't get me wrong. I do really like the mobile food ordering aspect. However, everybody's on their phone. They're distracted. They're distracted now more than ever, especially just in general society. You go outside and everybody's on their phone. You go out to dinner, everyone's on their phone. So, but when you're at a theme park, paying high price tickets, passes, or whatever, hotel stay, and you're going to be on your phone, because that's how they have directed the consumer's attention to experience the park, is through this for efficiency. Well, now that's kind of backfired, because now they're not really immersed, being involved into the experiences that Disney has built for them to experience. And that is a problem. So I do think, again, to Brickey's point, that's an amazing point. Get the attention off the phone, become immersed in your surroundings and what Disney's offering, and experience this activity together. Old school fashion way. I like it.
Engineers and the design teams spend countless hours putting so many details in this park. What a fun way to train a family or a little one. The more you observe, the more you will find. The more you live in the real world, the more you'll find that it's inviting and exciting. So anything that delivers dopamine to a youngster in the real world versus a screen shoved in front of their face, I'm a big fan of. And I think that this movement is, again, nobody had it on their bingo card. Nobody saw it coming, but it's just one of those little new things that showed up. And for a long time, it was easy to walk through the park and notice what was missing. But for my last 2 visits, I've noticed what's been added, what's been reopened, and what is moving in the right direction. And so once you get your passport, the cast members will stamp the pages where you complete the challenge at hand, which is a really cool interactive way for kids to see like a point system and to learn like, hey, I want to fill out the entire book. Now, I didn't go over to the island. I didn't see what they were doing. It's for kids and I'm respecting that and I'm giving them their space. After the hype is worn down, you know I'm going to get one of those books and rip it real soon.
Brickey, come on, man. You didn't go through the book? Aw. Everybody at home, we need Brickey to grab that book and tear through it and get all the stamps and see what the prize is. But yeah, that's cool. It gives the kids a incentive to want to complete it as well. Like you said, it's a reward system. Hey, I got this, boom, stamp. I got this, boom, stamp. Oh, let's find the next thing. It's an adventure on Tom Sawyer's Island, right? An adventure on the island. Now, the next step I want to see, though, personally, is getting all the props to work. If you want to explore, you got to have the props working. But anyways, this is cool. Disney, big thumbs up. Good job.
And the best part is, look at the traffic to get on the island. When is the last time that you saw more than a raft's worth of people waiting to get on the island? I know for me, it has been a long time. Maybe never have I seen this much demand to go over to Tom Sawyer's Island. So the art of discovery and adventure is back at Disneyland. And to whoever rolled out this initiative, I'm paying attention. I've been begging for this. Job well done. These things don't cost a lot of money. They don't take a ton of resources, but they add so much to the trip. I hope somebody comments below and tells me that you did it with your kids and they had a great time and they can't wait to go back and finish out their passport and do it again. Like, I'm absolutely loving this new vibe that has shown up. But oh wait, there is more, because out front of the Hungry Bear restaurant, there's a construction project that has blown out the front, sort of the front west end of the location. Now, months ago, I saw them file a permit for shadow boxes. And I thought, well, it's probably just going to be like a small little detail that will just be somewhere in the restaurant. But now looking at the fact that they've ripped up the dirt, they've adjusted the concrete, this again looks like Disneyland is going through the park with a fine-tooth comb, and they are maximizing the footprint for the guest experience. So many of the projects we're going to look at today are them going around the park and sort of finding a space where one didn't exist before. So I would tell you that whatever comes in this area of the Hungry Bear on the edge of Bayou Country, it's probably going to be some sort of relaxation, chill zone with a little bit of entertainment dashed in there. I think these shadow boxes that are supposed to come might be some sort of interactive display, but what's important is this is a little dead space. There were a couple of benches that sat through here, and they looked at the land and figured out we can remove a little bit of landscaping, we can carve a little area, and we can make a new little installation. And these are happening all around Disneyland. Like, they are maximizing their capacity, but they're also maximizing the value and giving people lots of little places to explore. So when we look at this construction footage, I would like to try to imagine how somebody saw quote unquote dead space and said, you know what, there's a way to entertain another 25, 50 people in this space. And if you multiply that over a 10, 16-hour day, that's 500, that's 1,000 people that get to do something at Disneyland or discover a new little nook. And I'm filming this month's update right here because I feel like this.
So with the Hungry Bear location, it's funny because I think it could possibly be more tables and chairs, because that's what we've been getting a lot recently, tables and chairs, right? The PIMS extended seating in front of Guardians of the Galaxy, tables and chairs, which it's a lot of it. But it's needed, though, because honestly, at Disneyland Resort, it's such a like I don't think people who don't go to this park don't understand that even though it's a smaller park compared to Magic Kingdom, this park packs bodies. There's so many people. It's so crowded. If you have not eaten your food on top of a trash can, you have not had food at Disneyland. Because sometimes it gets so packed, there's nowhere to sit. All the spots, the shade, the unshade are gone. They're taken. There's not enough room, not enough seating for everybody to sit down and eat their food. Because remember, people also go at because also remember too, people go and eat lunch the same time you do, or they eat dinner at the same time you do. So then everybody has the same mindset, and you're trying to find a place to sit down, and you can't find a space, and you're like, well, here's a trash can. Oh man, it's insane. But yeah, more tables and chairs probably, and I'm thinking something like that little restaurant. I forgot what it's called, guys, but that tiki restaurant by Jungle Cruise, and there's like the little talking bird there. But I wonder if this will be something like that. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm glad to see someone at Disney is looking at empty space and thinking, hey, we can't put a full-fledged attraction here, but how about we put some more seating areas or something for, again, increasing spaces where guests can chill and eat or just relax and just sit down. So I like it. Good work.
This is one of those vibe spots that exists to make the park feel pure at heart. And I believe more of these are on the way. And we have just seen one of these projects wrap up. Over in Fantasyland, there's the lodge named after something in Sound of Music that everybody always writes in the comments. It's pronounced Edelweiss, Edelweiss, Edelweiss. I don't care. It's the lodge.
Or the one I've heard, Edelweiss. So I don't know which way to pronounce it. But like Brickey, I don't care. It was funny too, because when this thing was being built, it was built pretty fast too. When it was being built, right, we had that whole tarp over the extended motorboat load area right there with the tables and chairs. And I know rumors were going around. Oh, is this getting demolished? Maybe. Yes. What's going to happen with Tomorrowland? And guess what? They're still there. And this is another case of just adding more seating, but with theming still in mind, which I love because it expands on the Matterhorn theme, but also expands on the Fantasyland theme as a whole.
I'm going to call it the lodge. The lodge has opened up, and what a beautiful construction this is. There was a temporary awning there that looked like something that you could buy at Sears back in the day to park your car under. And now there's a fully constructed and articulated Fantasyland awning to eat underneath. There was tons of people in there eating. There was a woman doing some work on her laptop. There was babies napping. Like, a cool little shelter showed up, adding in more Swiss vibes, adding in more Fantasyland vibes, and most importantly, constructed at the Disneyland code. Like storytelling, carving, the wood, the frame, the shape, the mural, the lighting fixtures, the way that you walk in and walk out. Keep in mind, this was basically just an area to stand in line with a little booth where you could go over and get information from a VIP guide. And in fact, those decorations are just thrown on top of this box. This was a space that was not being used, and now it's sitting here. It's well constructed, and who knows, it might be the future meet and greet of a certain unnamed character that's coming to the park that I won't cover. But this is happening, and it's happening all over the park. This is what we've been waiting for. Things to celebrate, things to be happy about, not this went away, that's closed, that used to be here. There is a mindset of momentum and growth that Disneyland has been missing. And I know you say, Brickey, it's just an awning. Calm down. It's just a beautiful awning that adds more design, more storytelling, more of the vibe back in Disneyland. Don't you dare call it just an awning.
And not only that, but it also, again, adds a place for guests to be able to sit down, relax, or eat their food, and it gets guests out of the walkways. Again, just increasing usable capacity overall, which is fantastic, and that's what the park needs.
The lodge, baby. And now something else that has been on my Disney wish list. Friends, without any fanfare, any mention, boom, the summer season came, and guess what? We can finally go back in the Magic Eye Theater. That's right, a little cute Pixar film festival of shorts showed up, 3 shorts that you can watch, and you can get back inside the Magic Eye Theater. Now, the 3D, 4D effects, none of that's happening. It's just a standard theater, but it's a part of Tomorrowland that forever it was just closed. Just another thing that you couldn't open the door to. Well, the doors of justice have swung open again, and we can get inside the theater, take a nice little 10-15 minute break.
Okay, so I actually had the pleasure of going with Mrs. Webber and her friend. I believe it was, what's today? Today's Monday. Last Friday to last Friday we went to Disneyland, and I was so hyped that this had just come out. I was like, yes, I want to go see it. Let's go, because Mrs. Webber has never been inside the theater. My last time being inside the theater was when they had Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. Now, I know that there's a huge fan love for Captain EO. Now, when I was going to Disneyland, I don't think Captain EO was there, or maybe it was, but I just didn't go experience that because I was probably too young. But when I got a little bit older, that's when they had Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. And by that time, I had already seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And was it Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, and Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. So I love that IP, that trilogy of movies. Fantastic. And then when I heard that they had that IP or that franchise, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, I was all on board. And here's the thing, I'm a rides guy, but it's not a ride, but it's still an attraction, something to do. So we went there. It was 3D. You could feel the mice running over your feet and everything. Oh, it was fantastic. And the music for the banger. I loved it. But I was so sad when this was closed. I know that they had this open for a little bit a couple years ago, maybe like 3-4 years ago, of like, what was it? The Path to the Jedi or some weird thing like that. But yeah, it's great to have this theater back open, even though it might only be these 3 Pixar shorts. And I'm sorry that there is freaking mowing guys outside. Give me 1 second, fam. Yes, I'm so glad that this is back open, even though it's only 3 Pixar shorts. At least it's something, another attraction that's open for the guests to go there and experience. Now, of course, from Brickey's video footage right here, obviously there's not a lot of people. When me and Mrs. Webber went as well, there wasn't a lot of people there either. But I mean, it's Pixar shorts. I mean, guests aren't really going to be super hyped for that. And to be fair, this wasn't really publicized either. So it's just kind of there and no one really knew about it. But I do think that if Disney can cook up something of a more substantial show, 3D, with 4D effects and whatnot, like with Captain EO or Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, that will bring all those bodies into that theater. And guess what? You will have, already doing this is increasing guest capacity, increasing park spatial usage. But when you have something that's more permanent and more thrilling and adventurous for this theater, you'll pack bodies in there for sure. And that's already an improvement for Tomorrowland. Actually, this right here is already an improvement for Tomorrowland, because this here is another space now being utilized for the guests that wasn't being utilized before. So come on, guys, let's get Tomorrowland going.
Break from the sun, sit in the shade or ice cold air conditioning, and watch 3 really fun little shorts. My personal favorite one was Lou. And I'm like, yep, Pixar shorts inside of Disneyland. Of course they're going to make me cry. And Lou is absolutely a cute little short. But we're back. We're back in areas we haven't been in for a long time. And these are the things that many fans have been begging for. Like, why wouldn't they do this? And we couldn't figure it out, but now they are. By the way, I am filming at a dead end next to Buzz Lightyear, where Pixie Hollow's at, and the little fountain show out here. And there's just a steady stream of people that think there's going to be something at the end of this walkway. And I'm like, where's the spot I can film on a busy day where I'm away from everybody? And yet somehow it has become high traffic. I love it. So walking through the park and being frustrated that it just kind of felt like the place was slowly going the wrong way and things you used to have didn't exist anymore. Like they really took their time coming back from the 440-day shutdown. And there's a lot of theories that the parks were trying to make up for a lot of the lost revenue on streaming. I don't know why they got to the mindset of really like making the food smaller and the price more expensive. That was kind of the mindset for the entire resort for a very, very long time. Like give people less, but don't even doubt that we're going to charge more for less. And the last two visits have just kind of felt like more has shown up. So the Magic Eye Theater, getting in there, getting to go beyond a roped off section, it just feels like a small emotional victory because it feels like they're listening. Galaxy's Edge, opening up the theater, the dance party that's happening over at DCA, which is so much fun. There's just magic moments happening all around the park. None of them are complex. None of them are expensive. It's just literally thinking fan first instead of profit or corporation first.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Also, I believe in Tomorrowland, some Stitch dance show or something at the stage show at Galactic Grill. I believe something has appeared there as well. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yes, exactly said Berkeley. But yes, exactly said Brickey. More stuff is coming up, and like you said, they are listening to the fans, and I believe they are. We are definitely seeing this. I think really company wide, to be honest. Just I think with the parks and stuff, it's more of a kind of direct impact and small wins you can do quicker than the kind of over time projects to make the big ones happen. That I think they will happen, but I think that will take longer for us to see. Whereas these wins are smaller wins, but they're wins nonetheless. So awesome stuff. Very, very excited.
And so, somewhere along the way, with the new chain of command, we no longer seem like an afterthought. We are in front of mind. It feels like somebody went through the park and thought about it from a fan first perspective and said, there are several opportunities here where, with a minimal lift, we can add a lot more value to our customers' experience and day at the park. And I wanted to celebrate that because I've always been honest about when things went the wrong way, when things didn't work, when they were cheating us, when they were cutting corners, when the experience was diminished. I never hesitated to tell you. I'm not going to hesitate today to tell you that I feel like the magic is back. Built. That's BILT rewards. Built is the loyalty program for renters that allows you to earn points on your monthly rent payments, something you're already paying for anyway. And with Built, those rewards can be redeemed for things like travel with leading hotel and airline partners, Lyft rides, Amazon.com purchases, fitness classes, and so much more. And when you link any credit card or debit card to Built, you can earn points at 45,000 local merchants just by spending money at the places that you already go. You earn Built points on top of your regular credit card rewards, which helps turn everyday spending into future trips and experiences. For me, that's what makes Built exciting, turning something routine like paying rent into future opportunities to travel and explore and actually enjoy where life takes you next. Friends, it's simple. Paying rent is better with Built. There is no cost to join, and you can start earning rewards on rent no matter where you live. Sign up through the link in my description.
So everybody, like what Bricky said, make sure that you sign up in that link in his description, or I guess there's a QR code there, but it looks like my icon is in the way. Apologize. um, but yeah, doing that is awesome.
Or the QR code on the screen. And make sure you use my URL so they know that Brickey sent you. Now back to today's video. So now with a project like Buzz Lightyear that has expanded over into the green little men. Like the whole building now is pretty much shut down except for the restaurant on the corner. Whereas before I've been like, I don't know, they're probably just painting it and putting a new light bulb in there, or who knows? Maybe they're just shutting it down, so that's one less ride they have to maintain and keep a staff for. I kind of feel like with this version of Disneyland, everything is on the table. They could be doing something great in there. They could be sprucing it up. They could be adding in a new little trick or surprise, because it kind of feels like all of a sudden Disney's maybe learned we don't need to tell the fan everything, because there is a value in surprising them. And it
Thank you. Thank you, Brickey. Yes, I've been saying this for so long, especially when it comes to D23 stuff. Actually, personally, I wouldn't even want a D23 parks panel. I don't care. Just go ahead and start building stuff, and then we'll see some cool things like, oh crap, look at that. That's awesome and amazing. Let's go on it. Now, yes, when there's announcements, it's so much fun for us as fans to like theorize and speculate or haze on things, right? And it's just fun fan discussion. At the same time, though, if Disney is just gonna go build something or refurbish something and not say anything, hey, I'm cool with that. I'm like, okay, do your thing. And it's funny because this Buzz Lightyear, this refurb has taken a lot longer and it's become bigger than I expected it to have become. So it's very, very interesting. I would have thought this would be like I don't know, like a month thing or something, or like a couple weeks to a month thing. But no, it's turned out to be a lot bigger project than what I assumed it was going to be. And so far Disney hasn't said a word, and maybe they won't, which is fine by me. Uh, again, I think that the fan community expects so much from Disney in terms of, hey, we need announcements every single day about this and this and this. We need to know what you guys are doing. No, you don't. Honestly, you don't need to know anything. So, I mean, is it cool? Is it reassuring? Yes. At the same time, I would rather not know and just have them build it because, okay, look, let's put it into this perspective, okay? Pandora coming to DCA. With them having been working on it and when they announced it, would my life have been any different uh, not knowing we weren't getting Pandora until they started building it? I think I would have been a lot more like, holy crap, excited when that time comes. But my life would just continue on as normal. So there's no real purpose of like the hype building because when a project goes on for too long, then the hype starts to die off. And then you get questions and concerns from the fans. Oh, is this really happening? Is it really going here? I don't know. Are they really doing it? Is this really happening? You know, just just work on your project and then just boom, one day start building and then announce, show concept art. Here's a concept art of what we're actually building. Here it is. Bam. But anyways, back to Brickey's blog here.
has felt like a surprise coming to the park and just being like, I didn't know there was a dance party happening in DCA, but because these cast members are waving us in, let's go check it out. It turns out it was the funnest thing we did that night. And on top of all this, the park is looking beautiful. It's well maintained. Everything is looking nice and shiny. The Main Street refurbishment is down to just the final little stretch, just Coke Corner and around the bend there. And then that side of Main Street has been gone through with a fine-tooth comb. And you can tell it's just glowing, it's shining, it looks absolutely beautiful. But that is the case all around the park. Over in New Orleans Square, Pirates of the Caribbean is down. It's going to be down for a while. I had looked at permits where it looks like they're doing some work with projections and lighting in there. So who knows? Maybe when we get back in, there might be definitely brighter lights, better projections, but maybe a little something new projected in there. Like you don't know with this new version of Disney. And the Blue Bayou is open, but it does have a diminished experience because obviously you can't look into the attraction when it's closed. And I heard a woman walk up and actually get put on a walk-up list for Blue Bayou. So that just goes to show you literally how much the demand on that changes when you can't dine and look at the pirates floating by. But I am happy to report that the Port Royal Jazz Club is still seating. It's not gone back to a shop. And I can also tell you that the spicy chicken Caesar ho boy is delicious if you like a nice cold sandwich. So friends, other than Toontown, all around the park, things are changing. Things are feeling good, and it's been really fun on my last 2 visits to be surprised, to discover new things, and to not get focused on all the things that are missing or felt like they were going the wrong way. I can't say that it'll continue to be this way. I can't say that I'll always jump on and be this positive, but I can tell you, I'll always be honest with you. I'll always point out what I think is missing, where there's room for improvement. But when Disney gets it right, I will tell you they got it right. And I personally have gotten sick of having to be honest, sick of having to tell you the truth on, yeah, that's not cool. They could do better here. They could do better there. And to make this video, I have been waiting to do this for a while. I've been waiting and hoping that there was a sign that things would get better. I've never been a Josh stan. Like I always said, Josh seems like a nice guy, but I'm not going to fall for the handsome CEO trap. I'm going to wait until I actually know what Josh is capable of. Because Josh has been able to hide behind the 2 Bobs. So when something went bad, it was the Bob's fault. But when something went great, don't forget, Josh has a great job and he's so lucky to have his great job. So I just was like, I'll take a wait and see pattern before I start claiming that the Disneyland savior has shown up. And I'm not going to say that's what he is, but I am going to say that it feels like things are going in the right direction. And then Thomas Mazzola, who I like to call Tommy Mastastic, he comes from Cruise Line. And I had hoped that somebody from Cruise getting in the parks would give the parks the TLC, the attention to detail that Disney Cruise is famous for. And it feels like that is happening. And then Sweet Jill, our new president, she's been in charge of international parks. And we all know the level and the pedigree that the international parks run at. And it feels like Jill is bringing some of that magic back home domestically.
So, perfect point. You have 3 parks people. You have Josh, who's a passionate fan, who actually worked in the park. You have Thomas from Cruise Line, which is attention to detail, superb guest service. And then Jill with, having done international stuff, which all of us domestically have seen how amazing the international parks have been with all their attractions and lands, technology. And you have those 3 all together with the same kind of clear vision. I mean, that spells really, really well for not only the domestic parks, but Disneyland specifically. So yeah, good stuff. I'm really, really excited.
So I exactly where in the new chain of command this change has happened. I can just simply tell you the change is happening. I've witnessed it. I'm feeling it. I'm high on the magic, and I'm excited to share it with you and to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, since the parks reopened, there's never been a better time to come to Disneyland than right now. My name is Brickey. Thank you so much for showing up. I hope you enjoyed this month's update. It's the one I've been dreaming of making, and honesty is my brand. I'll tell you when they make a mistake. I'll tell you when they get it right. Right now, they have absolutely got it right. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you, and I cannot wait to see you when you come back home to Disneyland. Good job, whoever is doing all this. Seriously, I have been begging for so many of these changes for so long, and it is amazing to see that you've realized that little changes make big differences.
And yes, so that is exactly right. Again, these changes, they're not huge, drastic changes, but these are changes that have needed to happen for a long time. The Magic Eye Theater having having more to do or something to do on Tom Sawyer's Island, more seating for the guests. I mean, again, it's still, how the saying is, it's the little things that matter. This is one of those, or a lot of those are those little things that matter. So I just want to say props to Disney. You're doing all the right moves. Keep it up, keep it going. I just want to give a huge shout out to Brickey and his channel Brickey Vlog. Again, if you haven't subscribe to both his channels. I will link both of his channels in the description below. And yeah, I actually found out Brickey from Orange 455 a while back. Does great stuff. He's a nerd, just like all of us. And even though me and Brickey are on two sides of the same coin, he's a vibes guy. I'm a riots guy. But you know what? You cannot have a theme park without both. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching today's episode. This was a fun one, watching Brickey, seeing his thoughts on all the small stuff coming, and it was just a great time. Proud of Disney. Keep doing what they're doing. Again, I think it's the culmination of the three executives all doing their part as listening to the fans, being fandom, wanting that quality experience for the guests. I think this is going to turn out amazingly for the Disneyland Resort going into the future. I cannot wait. All right, everybody. I will see you next time here on the next episode on Webcast Citizen. Catch you later.